Welcome to episode 3 of Beyond Beats. I'm Metic and DYVN's here. We are your hosts for Beyond Beats.
Get your coffee ready and let's go.
Got my coffee too.
Nice.
Yeah, so how was your week?
Dude, glad you asked. Kind of like eventful, I gotta say. I had a bunch of things happening. First of all, there was a new season of one of my favorite Swedish TV shows, Netflix series came up, Young Royals. I don't know if you know that one.
Okay.
But
Wait, is it in
it's
Swedish?
in Swedish, but I think
Okay,
there's
gotcha.
also a dub version, so you can also watch it in English or with like English subtitles or something.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so recommended for sure.
Oh man, I can be, because I have quite an addictive like personality. So like if I get into an episode and I get hooked, I just keep going.
Dude, if I weren't a dad and had any like obligations, I would probably have watched it in a day. But I like that, having the obligations that I have, I watched it in 3 days. So
Well done. Hey, setting priorities, setting boundaries. You're
shout out episode 2 of Beyond Beats.
out of episode 2. You gotta, you got family obligations, but you also got Young Royals obligations. So 3 days is a pretty good achievement.
Right. No, but other than that, I had a friend over actually from Berlin. So my friend Laura was here for an entire week until today, which is why we're filming a little bit later than we usually do. Yeah, so that was really fun. And as it is always when you have people over at your place, it's also a bit exhausting, but it's over and over, like in the whole picture. It's been super nice because we've been friends for, I don't know, like 8 years or something. So and something really funny happened. She when she met my daughter, she was like, "Hi, I'm an old friend of your parents," and I was like, damn, like like when my mom introduces friends of hers from high school to like when she told my wife about her old friends, she would say, "This is my old friend," and
Right.
now we're in that that space where I'm your parents' old friend. It was just kind of bizarre.
Yeah, life, the tides of time, moves on. It's undefeated. Father time's undefeated.
Still to this day.
Yeah. So, hey, you know what? It's fun. It's also fun. It also makes you realize how far you've come. You and your friend, and it just makes that relationship that much more special.
100%, yeah, and it's crazy because I've known her like only a year less than I've known my wife, so which is it's a long time actually. Other than that, we went to Stockholm for a day only, but it's been really nice. Just walking around in the city, nothing special, just breathing some big city air.
That was just a quick trip, right?
Yeah, it was just like for like going there, staying there for a day, and then leaving the next day. And the next day we celebrated my daughter's 2nd birthday, which is once again, like time became really real this week.
How did you guys celebrate it while you guys were in Stockholm?
No, that's why we went back so early, because we wanted to be here for that.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we had our friends over, had a little bit of a birthday party in the evening.
Yeah.
Had some cake, all of that. So
Birthday presents, opening, and all that stuff. Yeah, it's always fun, man.
Yeah.
So that's quite a jam-packed week, man.
Dude, and on top of that, I got my SP404 Mark II delivered after like 4 months after I ordered it.
Oh wow, you got a Mark II. Oh man, I'm so jealous.
And get this, I didn't even open the package yet. It got here like, oh, I probably shouldn't show my address.
We'll blur it out.
It got here like 2 days ago, and I still haven't opened it up because I've ordered it back in June, and it was supposed to be here in July, and now it's here in November. So
Yeesh.
Hey, time. That's like today's episode's theme.
Hey, it for the SP44, it's worth it.
I hope so. I hope so. I really do. Yeah, that's my week. How was yours?
Yeah, that's it's good, man. Not as jam packed as yours. I think I started off the week. I went to a FKJ concert in Brooklyn.
Oh, sweet.
And it was at this venue called Brooklyn Mirage, which is like a massive like warehouse type venue. And he played in like one of the big halls, and it was just an absolutely incredible show. He never ceases to make me. I've never met. I didn't meet him, but like I've never saw an artist that made me want to quit music so many times, but also inspired me to like make better music after I get out of that quit music hole. It's just crazy seeing him. For those that don't know, like he does live looping. He plays the guitar, the bass, the sax, the keys. He plays all instruments, and he does. And this time is his first time touring with a live rhythm section. He's got a bassist and a sick drummer, and he's also got a string section. I think a cello, violin, and viola.
But is he like playing all those instruments despite having like a fixed setup for those instruments? Is he playing like all the other instruments himself?
Yeah. Well, I think
damn.
he's triggering a lot of backing tracks too.
Right.
Like, so he's not live looping everything, but he's live looping a lot.
Right.
And but it's my first time hearing his music. So I've listened to him for almost a decade. I've listened to him for a while, and there's some of his really old classics, like "Lying Together," for example, is I think one of my first. Is how I discovered him, I think, and just to hear a live version of that track, which is like a classic FKJ track, it was insane. Just like because he did so many live versions of his tracks, old and new, during that concert that was just completely different from the studio versions, and it was just like it was so jammy. They just jammed, and it was such an experience, and it just inspired me to like craft a different kind of live experience as well. I really thought it inspired me to like go back to the drawing board again, just to see how I should be doing things.
Amazing. That's really cool. I like those like kind of cathartic live show experiences where you just rethink it all and you kind of see clearly and on how you want to do it. And even like approaching life, like I've had that on that scale, like translating something directly to my own live setup or something, from back when I still played more live gigs or at all. But even like sometimes it just reflects back on your life and you feel like, oh yeah, I kind of know what I want to do now, sort of.
Yeah, it's just it's inspiring, man. It's so inspiring. Just because I think what goes kind of under the radar about his skill set is how much of an Ableton wizard he is. Like it's just beyond all the instrument, like all the virtuoso skill level on all his instruments. Like it's like he can do a lot of, he makes Ableton his instrument, and he's a virtuoso at that. It's crazy. It's kind of, I don't know, have you played those old FIFA games or old NBA games or whatever, like where you can like design your own character and then design your own player?
I'm not sure where this is going. Like skill level wise, like in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, where you have like the hang time.
You design your own. Design your own character, and then when you design your own character, you always like max out all the attributes and all that stuff. It's like when you
as many
skill
points as you have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You max it out, and then you kill it in the game, and then it just got me thinking. Like if I were to design like a perfect musician, it feels like he hits all those attributes. Like he's already got it.
Max skill points.
Exactly. Just game breaker. Yeah. So I think the next day I was like, oh man, I opened up my Ableton, live performance template, and I just looked at it. I'm like, oh man, like it's gonna take me so much work to like reroute everything that like to make it sound to try to emulate like his setup, and I was like, oh man, so far to go. I'm gonna quit music. And then that afternoon I was like, okay, you know what, like it's got myself out of that hole. But yeah, it's just the ups and downs of
that's how it is sometimes.
That's how it is sometimes. Other than that, nothing much. I went to a workshop a couple days ago on Serato Studio. So Serato, it's actually really cool, and I'm not even like sponsored or anything, or I'm just straight up a fan. Like, Serato came up with a new DAW called Serato Studio, and
I saw they have like a new function to like interrupt you right away from the start, where you can
I know where you're going.
Yeah. I'm gonna let you talk. I'm gonna do the Kanye route. I'm gonna let you talk.
Oh no! I mean that's exactly it. So part of the new feature that's included in Serato Studio is the stem separation feature, and not just stem. Stem separation has existed, but this is real time stem separation as well. So you could just my friend Brown Jewel, who led the workshop, she's like a really talented beat maker. She's been using Serato Studio for like 2-3 years, and she like during the session she just made a beat and then pulled out an old Usher song, and then because when you import a song in Serato, it automatically analyzes the BPM, the key. So she just dragged it out onto the beat that she already made, and then used the stem separation thing, and then just isolated the vocals, snapped it onto the beat, and then it was like a remix done in 30 seconds. It was crazy.
Sorry, I zoned out for a quick sec because my brain went into don't say yeah when I heard you say Usher. I went.
Yeah.
It's kind of lame to do that, like just the vocal without the boop doop 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 beat. Yeah, so
that reminds me though. Watch this. Don't say yeah. Well, watch this. That was a great meme.
I did listen with a half a ear though.
But no, she, just long story short, she just made a Usher remix within like 30 seconds using the stem separation tech.
I feel like stem separation has gone a long way from only a couple of years ago. Like, oh my goodness, this exists, or like, oh my goodness, me Googling how can I separate vocals from, then you go to some crappy website, which is kind of like pirate. Yeah, and then it's like there's a software from company XYZ that does this, but it's $500 to it's built into your DAW now. I think this has come a long way.
I think it's not only did you have to go through crappy websites to get what you needed to get. Like I remember when I really wanted this certain like acapella, I would have to go on, these old forums and like revive like 5-6 year old threads and try to find all these links that people have posted like such a long time ago, and they're all dead links now. And then I would have to like message the original poster and be like, hey, do you still have those links? And then that's how I used to get, that's the links that I would have to go through before that to get some of the acapellas that I wanted. And now like you could do it in 30 seconds with Serato or whatever stem separation technology you want to use. It's insane, and it's clean.
Yeah,
it's clean.
Gonna do a quick break, like not break, but like a quick.
Quick stretch.
Quick stretch.
I see you're in a fleece already. It's getting cold over there, huh?
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. That was a compliment, clearly.
I mean, I totally,
Yeah.
like,
yeah. Thank you. That is a fleece.
Yeah. But
it's a bit warm. I gotta say. I bought that one in Stockholm, and I really like it. That's why I'm wearing it. It's not that cold. It's actually pretty warm, to be honest.
Hey, it looks great though.
Thanks. Thank you. Hey, thank you.
Hey,
Appreciate
I
it.
got you, man. I whenever you need compliments, man, I'm always.
No. I think his phone just died, so he's not the guy for compliments. Let me call him back. Dude, we were talking a lot about music, and I think one of the things I did when I was here, I was in the bathroom taking a shower. Fun story, big mishap from last week. I was trimming my hair, and the day before Stockholm, and the day when we were going to Stockholm, I was like, oh, there's a little part that I missed from trimming my hair. It was like 1 millimeter longer, so I was just like, you're going like to the capital, so you want to look fresh and smooth, and so I just took my trimmer, and it fell out like the day before. It fell out of the bathroom cupboard.
What fell out?
It fell out like my trimmer. My trimmer fell out.
Oh, okay.
So the day before, the trimmer fell out the bathroom cupboard, and so it must have gotten sort of the, on a trimmer you can like adjust the millimeter length, or the the length on how long you want your hair to be trimmed.
Yeah, you can adjust it. Yeah. Okay.
I feel like I'm not telling the story that greatly.
But what was the mishap though?
So the mishap was I was going for the side part just to trim it out, assuming that was still on 5 millimeters.
Oh.
I'm going to show the camera, and then I'm going to show you.
Oh my God. Hey, but hey, you know what? It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Just imagine the whole thing being a whole lot shorter. So it was basically bald at the side here. Just a little
right. So it already grew out a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. Okay.
Just a little square.
Oh,
Looking
man.
fresh for Stockholm, man. Bringing over the trends.
Man.
Down here from southern Sweden. That's how we roll.
Hey, you know what though? Mad props to cutting your own hair. That's something I've been wanting to do for a while now, and I still haven't gotten the balls to do it yet.
Clearly, I'm great at it. So.
But hey, do you do that? I mean, do you get Julia to hold the mirror and stuff like?
No, I'm just doing that myself. I'm just like, you know what? I'm putting on a podcast, and I'm just like 30 minutes or 20 minutes of me time where I'm just like, man, super nice.
Yo, I gotta get some tips from you from when I finally take the plunge. I'll be asking you for tips.
My look in Stockholm was this one though.
Just cover everything. Yeah. Can't gotta hide it in the capital.
Yeah. As we tend to say over here at Beyond Beats.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, while I was trimming my hair, when everything was still kind of pretty good, I was listening to some music, and I was just, using my Apple Music playlist and put it on shuffle. And so I just listened to whatever came up. And I had this super, super nice, because I treat my Apple Music playlist, or even back in the days when I still, when iTunes was more of a thing, I always treated that as sort of like a digital vinyl collection. So I only saved the music that I like most. So I save some music, then I listen to it, and then I'll sort of decide whether or not it gets to stay in my library.
Right.
And I just put it on shuffle, and I sort of so it played back like a mix of my all-time favorites.
Oh,
usually I put on the
nice.
podcast like I just said, but this time it was just just want to listen to some music, and it was so nice. It was so cool.
Just takes you back to whatever time when you first heard it, and you when you not only when you first heard it, but when you first looped it for like weeks, and then you're like, oh man, I was such a silly kid back then. Maybe whatever it is, you know, if you listen to it after your first breakup or your first crush or something, like, you know, it always takes you back to like all those
100%, man. I think there's not that much. I didn't listen to those kinds of like David classics, you know, that kind of define my life like that. But I listened to a bunch of, you know, like more recent sort of classics for me personally. Mm-hmm. And in our second half of the pod, I just figured we could talk a little bit about our music of the week, or in this case, it's more like a music that defined us sort of thing.
I'm so down.
In a casual way, you know, it's like not. I wouldn't say that all of those songs are exactly who define me. These are just a bunch of random songs that my phone played, and I figured this one comes to my playlist, you know. And after a couple of songs, I realized I wanna turn this into a thing. So these are basically just random songs that define me, not my personal selection of 10 songs that define me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's just. I mean, it's very hard to distill everything into 10 songs. So, hey, who knows? Maybe we'll do another 10 songs.
It's more like curated by my phone, and I picked them out from that curation, rather than me going ahead and thinking about what kind of 10 songs or whatever, however many songs define me.
Got you. So it's more like what Apple Music thinks DYVN likes. Also, I mean, does how accurate? Because we can also gauge how accurate this is. Like, do you have all your music collection on Apple Music / iTunes?
No.
Oh, okay. So I mean,
it's kind of like, you know, I started at some point saving up some of my classic albums, but I didn't save all of them. So it's like I said, it's only like a very limited selection.
I hear you.
But I think it's there's some interesting stories behind some of those songs. Some more, some less, I guess. I think I'm building it up too much right now. It's casual.
I mean, it's going to be the greatest 10 songs, you know, the world has ever heard. It's just the greatest curation, you know.
Other than that, nothing much, you know.
Step aside, Apple Music editors. You know, we got a new curator in town.
Okay, you start.
Okay, yeah, sure. I kind of just took what you gave me, as in like the general instructions, and I just went back to, you know, my old collection and try to distill everything into a few songs or whatever. But I guess I'll start off with Tommy Guerrero, who's when people ask me like what are your influences, and I would always say Tommy Guerrero is really up there in terms of really influencing what I'm doing today. And because, just make a long story short, I started playing guitar 2003, and I started making beats around 2010. So I didn't really, when I started making beats, I had no idea what my beats would sound like, you know, because I was a guitarist forever, right?
Sure, yeah.
At the time.
Yeah,
and then I found, you know, Tommy Guerrero. So the story of Tommy Guerrero, just to distill it into a few words, he used to be a pro skater, and he became a musician. I mean, and I guess he's more of a live guy, but he also makes beats. But when he plays live, I think he does it with a band. But anyway, like he he's a guitarist, and he produces slash he makes instrumental like hip hoppy type beats. So that was my first time kind of hearing like what a live guitar or what guitar beats would sound like to me, or at least the type of guitar beats that I would want to make would sound like to me. Because at that time I had listened to Nujabes and Dilla, and like I've heard like instrumental hip hop like DJ Shadow, RJD2, all that stuff, but I never really. It was all very sample based, and I didn't really hear what like instrumental guitar made instrumental hip hop would sound like. And that's when Tommy Guerrero came along and kind of just really informed the way I want to make music. So I guess I would just pick a couple of songs of Tommy Guerrero, which is the first is Terra Un Firma, off of his album So Takiera, and that's a great album. And Soul Miner is the other one I would recommend. So that's one of my biggest influences. Yeah.
Cool, super nice. Yep. So he's like the proto Metic.
Yeah, and also another way he kind of influenced me besides musically is also his transition from a pro skater into a musician. I think he transitioned at the early, I think in his 30s, I want to say, at the earliest is his late 20s, because he was skating all throughout his early like career. So and I kind of follow like a similar trajectory in that I took a big break from music in the 2010s. I was in a corporate job for several years, and I quit my job back in like my early 30s, trying to see if I could do music again, and luckily I could, and then that's. I wouldn't say like Tommy Guerrero was like the reason why I made that transition, but like the fact that he was able to do it.
But
but like the fact that he was able to do it and do both like really well. He was a great pro skater, and then he's a great musician. And just those little things tell you that it's possible.
Right. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
So that's Tommy Guerrero.
Cool.
What about you?
I think I'm going to start out with Mac Miller featuring Anderson .Paak. Dang.
Oh. Yeah.
It's one of those songs that just get me every time. And I listened to that in the car. That was pre-shower and trimming hair session. I listened to it in the car, and it was just so funky and so nice. It was while I was on my way to pick up my friend from the station. And it's just one of those songs that just, get you every time. And it's like, that kind of music is why I wanted to start, well, not producing music, because that goes way back into my rock music days, but that's kind of like when I noticed, especially with that, because I come from playing bass originally, and have a long history in playing bass in bands and stuff like that, and where I felt like bass as an instrument can be super prominent to a song, obviously in funk music, but it just felt like, it just feels like this timeless classic sort of, it's a great song.
Feel good. Yeah, it's feel good, and it's got a dance groove to it. It's got like it's and for two hip hop artists to make that track, it's kind of and to make it really catchy and groovy and still be themselves. Because it's not like your typical boom bap type groove. But it's infectious and yeah. I really like. I love it too.
Yeah, but the song that kind of from my shower session got me into starting this playlist and got me into that whole headspace was Inside from Steve Lacy, because that was one of those songs that just felt like he produced most of his music on, I'm not sure if it was also true for that album, but he produced most of his music on his phone.
Oh, right, phone, yeah. Right.
Oh, my camera just died. So, once again, like last week,
it's all good. We'll power through it.
You've got Floaty Ghost dive in once again. Yeah, so he produced most of his music on his phone, so it felt very approachable to me to produce music.
My second one, I'm just reaching really far back in time. Kings of Convenience. Kings of Convenience is just these two like they got like a really folky sound. They're a band, they're a duo. They kind of sound like a modern day like Simon and Garfunkel, but they really made it their own. And they kind of just taught me that you could play really soft and still have a big impact.
Nice.
Yeah. And the song I would probably recommend from them is "Stay Out of Trouble."
Okay.
Yep.
Going way back to the Beatles, because that's like the first band I ever listened to. And the song I actually picked was "I Me Mine," and that's one of those songs that are like not present to me at all. And you probably, I don't know if you know the song even, because I wouldn't know it if I wouldn't have heard it on the playlist. It's not one of those everyday Beatles songs, which is why I kind of picked it, because it was one. I wasn't, as I was trimming my hair, it was still a song that grabbed my attention, where I went like, oh, what's that? Because I didn't recognize the song as a Beatles song, which kind of got me like, damn, like those people are so great at music that they, even the songs I don't know, the not evergreen songs are still so good that I keep reaching to my phone and look up what it is. So that's just cool.
Yeah. I mean, they got such a massive back catalog. It's very easy to just dive in. It's very easy to dive in, and just rabbit hole for like days and weeks and and just still discover gems. So that's one of the great things. I guess my next one would be Tommy Emmanuel. He's a fingerstyle guitarist, and he's just an insane technical player, but also, so what he does is, for those that don't know, like fingerstyle, like he's able to play the bass line of the song and the melody and everything in one. It's a style kind of popularized back in the day by like Chet Atkins, but Tommy Emmanuel kind of just took that and just went the distance with it. He drums on the acoustic guitar, and that really kind of influenced the way I also want to play guitar, even though I can't play like he does. Because I started out playing the acoustic for years before I bought an electric. So yeah, Tommy Emmanuel is one of those massive influences as well. And so the song I would recommend from him is "Those Who Wait."
Cool. You're like a walking guitar encyclopedia.
No. Like it's absolutely not, I will not own that. Not at all.
I'm gonna keep it simple with Englewood with Pink Lemonade for my next pick. That's like one of the first lo-fi hip hop beats I ever heard, if you want to call it that. But it's like, I heard that and it kind of got me into that's what I want to make, because I was kind of struggling to find my sound and my style when I started out switching from making band music, like playing in a band, to going to production and solo, style. And I was kind of like trying out different things for like half a year, or even a year, I think, until I really found my what I just love doing and like the whole lo-fi aesthetics and stuff like that. So Englewood, shout out, you kind of made me, I guess, in a way,
My next one would be a band called Play, Plej. So they're a Swedish duo, brother duo. They made a few albums that made they make like Nordic lounge type music, and cool. I got really into them for a while, but they haven't been super active since the early 2000s. But their old albums I still listen to until this day. Because I love lounge music, like it's very easy listening, but also dancey. I feel like lounge music has gotten kind of a weird rap rep in recent years. But anyway, I still love it, and super groovy. I would recommend Lay of the Land.
And it's one of our distant cousins, you know, like
Yeah,
the genre. I mean, not the
the
band.
genre, like the chill beats genre.
Yeah. I'm gonna wrap my list up with the Red Hot Chili Peppers, because they can't miss on my list. You know, I've got a couple more, but since Floating Head Diving or FaceTime Diving, I'm not sure which one we're gonna take, is maybe not that enjoyable. Or for audio listeners, it doesn't make a difference. So sorry for you guys to cut you off like that. But yeah, Red Hot Chili Peppers, as I mentioned, I think in our first ever episode, which is only 2 episodes ago, Make You Feel Better from the Stadium Arcadium album, which is my favorite album by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, which is probably one of my favorite bands ever. So that kind of makes it one of my favorite albums ever. And yeah, I just really love that song. And kind of like the title suggests, it always makes me feel really good. And it's one of those songs that kind of, when you feel a little bit like a little bit down, you know, it picks you up there, and then it kind of takes you from there. So it really like does what it promises, and it's not like a feel good song from the get go, but it like I said, it meets you where you're at, and then it kind of smoothly puts you in that like sort of better headspace, which I really like, and I'm all about that. So I think that song is a masterpiece, and it's so simple.
Whenever I need a jolt of energy, Red Hot Chili Peppers is definitely the way to go. I actually haven't listened to their albums from Stadium Arcadium onwards too much, actually, because I think it was Blood, Sex, Sugar Magic, or it was because when I listened to them, it was like way earlier in the early 2000s, I want to say. So,
but that was 2006, I think. So
yeah,
you have no excuses.
So that was already a little later. No excuse, guilty.
No, you mean like the Californication, By the Way, Can't Stop kind of eras. Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely need to study their later catalogs. My last song would be a track called Almost There.
Oh, that sounds sexy.
It's a collab between this artist called Les, I want to say.
Who knows?
Y-L-E-S.
I don't know how he's pronounced. What he's pronounced like. What are you looking at me?
I don't know. And Loki on the saxophone and me on the guitar.
And it's you.
This week.
Okay.
Yeah, so it just dropped this week. So yeah, I'm gonna plug that. I figured I plugged 3 of my really strong influences, and I just
got to show the people what all that kind of merged into at the end.
Yeah, it got a little too serious, so I had to just do a quick little plug. Yeah, that wraps it up for episode 3. 3 episodes in, still going strong.
Yes. Any final words?
No.